The Women's International Network presents A Woman's Worth with psychotherapist and relationship expert, Dr. Joyce Morley. Let's explore our self-worth, poor decisions, family interactions, and more. Recognizing a woman's worth, bringing healing to the nations.
Greetings, this is Dr. Joyce Morley, your host of A Woman's Worth. I'm a psychotherapist. I've been a psychotherapist for over 30 years. I'm a relationship expert. With many people over the years, helping many people to be able to look at many situations, many problems, and especially with women. I work with families. I work with all sorts of people. And as we go through that process, there are many things that come about. And today I'm sitting with someone, I'm just sitting on my couch. And we're talking about some issues that are going on. I have with me Ms. Rolanda Goldsboro. And Ms. Goldsboro came to me and said she's been having some issues about dating and when to let go. And so I'm going to give her an opportunity to talk about what she's facing as far as dating, when to let go, and how to know when enough is enough and when to just cut it and let it go. Ms. Goldsboro, thank you so much for coming today. Tell us a little about what's going on with you with this dating. What's going on with you about trying to let go when the date and things like that? Help me to understand what's going on.
Well, I'll tell you, I've tried dating, I've tried dating younger, I've tried dating blue-collar workers, I've tried dating educated men, and I just tell you, it's just turned out to be all the same. Unfortunately, I have, I guess, gotten caught up in titles and the fact that they look good on paper and ignoring the signs and the red flags, trying to make it work, in opposed to seeing things that you know that you should focus on, but you ignore them because you want to have a partner or want to have significant other or someone to go out on a date with. But in reality, you have to pay attention to those red flags. Right. You have to be able to set boundaries with people. Yeah. You have to be able to realize when it's time to let go.
Right. Either they're an asset or they're a liability, and I think too often what we do is we get in. We want somebody, as you said, we want that significant other. We want that person to be with us. And most often, women seem a lot more needier than men. And it's almost as if we want a big N on our forehead that says needy. And so we get with these guys, as you said, when do I set boundaries? When do I have some balance? When do I say enough is enough? So tell me, what are the top 3 things that you look for in a man that says that you should even be dating them in the first place?
Well, I tell you, with me, I have been looking at the fact that they look good. They are presentable. They are, what you say, handsome. I have made the mistake of listening to, I guess, things that they know that a woman wants to hear.
Right.
I have given them opportunities to take me out on a date, and knowing that they really aren't the one for me.
But you're hoping that you can change them. So I heard you say, first of all, they look good. A wolf in sheep's clothing. Thinking that there's something else, looking at the book cover, they can dress it up any kind of way. You open that book and you see that they're not the ones for you, but you still continue on. And look like they're good on paper. You know, paper can be forged, paper can be fake, but you go along with them anyhow. Take you on a date, they can't even afford it, but you still sit at the dinner table with them. Is that what I hear you saying that happens?
That has happened.
Okay.
That has definitely happened.
And so that you don't seem to have boundaries. Is this what I'm seeming to hear you say?
Yes, I have to learn to set more appropriate boundaries. I have to be more aggressive with that.
Surely. So knowing when enough is enough, to say I've had enough, you're not the one for me, to say see you, kick them to the curb, and recognize that if it's not an asset, it's a liability. And at some point you cut because you would not go to a bank and put your money in the bank and not draw or yield any income, would you?
No.
Okay. So we're going to make sure that as we go forward is learning how to set boundaries to be able to have some balance. and to be able to look at what are your top 3 characteristics that you're looking for in a mate. And if they don't fit, as Johnny Cochran used to say, you must acquit and begin to let it go and be able to say enough is enough. Okay, Dr. Joyce Morley, A Woman's Worth. We're going to wrap this segment, but we're going to come back and we're going to talk about some of those things that as you, as a woman, need to be able to recognize when you're dating. What are those things that you need to recognize? When is enough enough? When do you need to call it quit? When do you need to kick them to the curb? When do you need to be able to say, you know what, I see all the red flags, I'm not going to step on them and kick them to the side, but I'm going to get over it and let it go. He's not for me.
Did you know that 80% of businesses fail in the first 5 years? 97 of them didn't have sound entrepreneurship training. Urban Business Institute's School of Entrepreneurship is designed to teach those who dream of building a successful business without the worry of debt with our low-cost tuition. In fact, you don't pay if you don't pass or complete the course, and we help get you the startup capital needed for your business upon graduation. Urban Business Institute, we create job creators through training, consulting, funding, incubating, and ongoing support, and our Black Capital Summit, How-To Conference, and Black and in Business Annual Conference. Visit urbanbusinessinstitute.com for more information. That's urbanbusinessinstitute.com.
It won't always be new. It won't always be clean. It won't always be flawless. But it'll always be yours. So how do you know it'll be protected? To solve the big challenges of tomorrow, take simple steps today. When you're ready to start, we're ready to help with auto insurance. Get started at countryfinancial.com/simple steps.
The Women's International Network presents A Woman's Worth with psychotherapist and relationship expert, Dr. Joyce Morley. Let's explore our self-worth, poor decisions, family interactions, and more. Recognizing a woman's worth, bringing healing to the nations.
Welcome back to A Woman's Worth. I'm your host, Dr. Joyce Morley. And we've been talking with Ms. Rolanda Goldsboro. We've been talking about dating, when to let go, when is someone an asset or liability, be able to establish boundaries, when to just completely call it quits and say you got to go, enough is enough, you don't fit, I'm acquitting you. So, Ms. Goldsboro, we were talking about looking at that whole dating aspect. Tell me, what do you look for in order to find a date? Where do you go? Are you going online? Are you going on the internet? Is it about friends? How do you actually look to be able to find someone to date?
I've actually tried them all, to be honest with you. I've tried the dating sites. I've tried going to Home Depot.
Okay. So if you can find that man with the tool belt and everything, that means he's industrious at some point, okay?
Yes. And I've tried some friends hooking me up, introducing me to gentlemen that they thought that were compatible with what they thought I would like. That has not always worked.
Surely.
Because people sometimes think that they know what you like or what you need, and that's not always the case.
You know you better than anyone else, and that's important to recognize. People can try to hook you up, but you know you better, and you've got to be able to set the standards. And sometimes it's a matter of having a conversation with friends. If you're looking with someone, here's what, and write down those things that you're looking for as if you're writing down a recipe and taking them with you and sharing those with your friends. So that hasn't worked out all the time. Going to Home Depot hasn't worked out all the time. Tell me about the Home Depot a little bit more.
Well, I tell you, I was just in the store the other day. I went to purchase something. I'm decorating my den and slash office. So I needed some things that, like a curtain rod and a door. And I went there because I saw it online and it was cheaper there. So as I walked into Home Depot, I'm like, wow, I see a lot of men. And so you never know if they're single or not, but it has been suggested to me by an older sister that said, you should go to Home Depot. That's where I met my husband. Mm-hmm. So I was in Home Depot the other day and I saw a lot of men and I'm like, I'll be back.
Okay, so did you approach? Did you say anything to either of them? What did you do? You just look at them and say, I'll come back and try it again. What do you plan to do? How do you plan to approach them if you didn't approach them that day?
Well, I tell you, I'm not shy. I have no problem with approaching. But one thing I do look for is a ring on their finger. So that doesn't always work because everyone doesn't wear rings.
Right.
So, but as I go back, I think that what I'll do is just smile, say hi, and let them take it from there. I'm kind of old-fashioned.
Okay. So it's being careful. It's knowing where you're going, but also being careful where you are, because everybody doesn't wear a ring. And many men who are out there for the second chance or for another chance or to catch another fish in his sea of fishes, he just decides to wear a ring on his finger. And so we have to be very careful with that. We have to be careful where we're going. So you tried online. What about the online dating? What about trying that?
Wow. Well, I had this plan where I wasn't going to always use the dating sites that you had to pay for. Okay. Because I told myself, I'm not going to pay to meet a man. I'm just not going to do that. Okay. But that didn't turn out to be too good. Because I think that it was lower quality men on the free dating sites, to be honest with you. Right. I always made sure that I didn't let anyone know where I lived, and I didn't always give my number out immediately. So I chatted on the site for a little bit, but it never turned out to be anything positive.
So again, you have to be very careful where you're looking for a mate, with someone to date. It may be looking for a mate, trying to find a date, and you find out too late that it was the wrong place for you to go. And so as we begin to look more, we're going to talk a little bit more about some other things with Rolanda Goldsboro. As we're looking at dating, when to let go, when to see that they're not an asset, they're a liability, when to cut it, when to kick them to the curb, when to quit because they don't fit. And making sure that if you're going to home, that you know what you're looking for. If you're going on the internet, that you know what you're looking for. But it's very important. So we're going to be back. You have been working and talking with Dr. Joyce Morley and Rolanda Goldsboro as we're looking at dating and when to let go. You've been watching Dr. Joyce Morley, the host of A Woman's Worth, and we've been talking with Rolanda Goldsboro about dating and when to let go. When is enough enough? When to be able to say he's not the right one? When to cut it? When to quit it? And when to let go? We're going to come back and we're going to talk about some other topics with Goldsboro, and we're going to move on from there. This is Dr. Joyce Morley on A Woman's Worth.
Lord, we need you. Oh, Heavenly Father, oh, come in, come in. You are welcome. Lord, we need you. We can't make it without you. We can't make it without you, Jesus. I'm calling on you, Father. I'm wrecked without you, Jesus. And I need you, Jesus.
It won't always be new. It won't always be clean. It won't always be flawless. But it'll always be yours. So how do you know it'll be protected? To solve the big challenges of tomorrow, take simple steps today. When you're ready to start, we're ready to help with auto insurance. Get started at countryfinancial.com/simple steps.
The Women's International Network presents A Woman's Worth with psychotherapist and relationship expert, Dr. Joyce Morley. Let's explore our self-worth, poor decisions, family interactions, and more. Recognizing a woman's worth, bringing healing to the nations.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Dr. Joyce Morley, on the Woman's Worth. And we've been talking with Rolanda Goldsboro about dating, that being out there in that dating scene. And you know it's in the midst sometimes of pariahs. You don't know what you're getting into, what you're going to find. And Rolanda, earlier you were talking about being able to date and meeting somewhere at Home Depot. You know, we have to be careful at Home Depot, because you get at Home Depot, Walmart, any other stores, you might meet somebody that you don't want, you can't return, you don't have a receipt for, they're not valuable enough. As a matter of fact, you may get a receipt, they may have a price, they may not be worth of what they say they are. Then you talked about dating online and going to the free websites, and you said sometimes you would get the lower caliber of guys on the free website. Well, you get what you pay for, but you still have to be careful with those you pay for. There are men that will go on there, and they're also out there seeking. They could be married, they can have other things going on. You may get something that you can't give back, and you may an asset, but it's actually a liability. So let's talk about why you want to date in the first place. Why can't you remain single?
Well, you know, the older I get, the more I think about it. I hope I'm not set in my ways.
Okay.
But when I think about, I grew up in a two-parent household, and my parents came from different sides of the fence, I should say. And they made it work. With 5 children, they made it work. I mean, we had our challenges, but they made it work. And I think that I am supposed to be with someone. I think about that.
So is there a written rule that says as a woman you have to be with someone?
No, there's no written rule.
Okay.
I think it's just a desire.
Okay, a desire. That makes a difference.
That I have.
Okay.
If I'm going to be with someone, I want it to be permanent.
Okay.
You know, I want to be married.
Right.
The dating scene is just really challenging.
Right.
And I'm finding more and more that a lot of the guys, I don't know, I've lived in 3 states now, but Atlanta, Georgia has been the most challenging place for dating.
Yes. And what makes it difficult for you in Atlanta?
Well, I think about the ratio of men to women, and so many beautiful women here, beautiful, educated women.
Such as you.
Yes, I think I am. And so, and I have male friends that I talk to, you know, platonic friends that share with me their challenges.
Right.
And they think that it's a whole lot of women here for them to choose from, but they feel as though it's not quality women.
Right.
And I feel as though there's not quality men here.
Right.
There's a whole lot of men who are, I should say, like my dad that was educated, but they have so many tricks and schemes and
hang-ups.
It's just so much. And I find myself meeting them, and I find myself saying, I might have a solution to that problem, but I'm not a counselor. I'm not a therapist, you know, and I don't think it's fair that I should have to try to fix a man to have a man.
You shouldn't. You know, anytime you've got to go and pick up somebody, first of all, and then fix them up, second of all, something is wrong with that picture. You don't need to fix up anybody. If he's not there, you're not going to get 100%. You've got to be, again, as we were talking about before, have a list. Literally sit down and come up with a list of what are the characteristics I'd like to see in a mate. What am I looking for in a male? And the first thing, he can't just be tall, handsome, because there could be other characteristics that you might not like. He may have the money, but you don't get any honey. So how do you begin to put all that together? How do you begin to understand, what am I looking for in a man? What about me? Satisfying myself. And one of the things you talked about in Atlanta, one of the greatest problems is the fact that we have too many men that have opportunities to get too many women, and we don't have boundaries with them. We will accept anything. A woman will accept a piece of a man, but a man will never accept a piece of a woman. And so we have to begin to say, as my sister says, either they're bringing the whole loaf, or I don't want any slices of the bread. So we're going to begin to talk about more things, and we look at this dating scene. How do we get here in the first place? You said I want to be with somebody, and there's nothing wrong with that. I want to marry, but you got to find the right man first in order to date, in order to marry. You have been listening to and watching Rolanda Goldsboro, Dr. Joyce Morley, A Woman's Worth, and we're going to come back and talk about some other things.
The Women's International Network presents A Woman's Worth with psychotherapist and relationship expert, Dr. Joyce Morley. Let's explore our self-worth, poor decisions, family interactions, and more. Recognizing a woman's worth, bringing healing to the nations.
Back to A Woman's Worth with Dr. Joyce Morley, and I've been just sitting on my couch having a conversation with Rolanda Goldsboro. We've been talking about dating, when to let go, when is enough enough, and we've talked about where to find them, why she want. Sometimes believing that you should be with someone. Where do you find that date? Where do you find that man? We've gone to Home Depot, we've gone on the internet, and we're finding out that those might not be the best places to go. But as we look at this, women have to work. And one of the reasons I think a lot of times, Rolanda, that women want to get with someone, as you said, I want to be married, I want to get with a husband, is to be able to have someone to offset that financial cost, the economical aspect of it all. Tell me a little about you being a single woman in the workplace. How does that all play out for you, and being able to date and meeting men there? Has that been a benefit for you, or has it been another one of those liabilities?
It's been a liability. It has not worked. I've tried even dating in the church. It just has not worked. There have been some coworkers that have expressed an interest in me. It hasn't worked. One was married. He didn't have a ring on. The other just had a lot of issues.
Okay.
A lot of issues. And I just can't take that on. I just can't do it all. And I don't want to really date anyone at the workplace, to be honest with you. My father used to always say, "We don't make it honey, we make it money."
That's right. That's right. Now I agree with that. Wherever there's mess, you don't want to step back in it, because you're gonna have to carry it with you all the time. That was a great point. Most certainly, when you begin to confuse because if you're going to be at work and you're dating someone at work, there are going to be other expectations, and then the water gets a little murky, a little muddy there, and it's hard to be able to get out of it. It's very important that you look at it. And you said, I've met people at the church, I've met men there. It hasn't worked there either. Again, it comes down to, what do you really want? And I know it's very difficult for you to be able to sit here today as we're having this conversation as we wrap this all up. What do you really want? What are the top 3 things that will let you say, when I look at this guy, aside from looking at him being tall, dark, and handsome, which many times is that cover, is that book, is not what's on the inside. What are the top 3 things that you can think of right now that maybe would say, I'm attracted to that guy, he may be a possibility for me to date, he could be at the not at work, he may be at Home Depot, probably not the internet, but someone that you can see. What are your thoughts?
Well, when I think about the top 3 things that I would really like to have in a mate, I think about someone that is a leader, someone that's respectful, someone that's responsible.
Wow.
And the reason why I think about that is because when you want to respect the person that you're with. And if he's a leader, and if he has God first in his life, and he believes that he submits to God, then he's going to treat you right. I really believe that. I really, truly believe that. So if he's a leader of his home, you can respect him, look up to him, because he fears the Lord, and he's going to do right by you.
That's right.
Because he wants to do what's right by God. Someone that's respectful. You don't want a man that's disrespectful.
That's right.
I've been down that road, and I've tried to fix it.
Yes.
But you can't fix a person that's disrespectful. Right. Trying to show them love, hoping they'll love you back, but it's inside of you. Right. Your upbringing, your character.
Right.
You know, you want a man that has good character. That's responsible. Someone that's responsible, that can maintain all the things of the household, maintain the family, that's self-sufficient before he meets you.
I mean, you've come up with 3 great characteristics. A leader, someone who's leading based on what God would want, and that godly way. Because you know what? Why would you follow a fool? Sometimes women come up and say, I want to be able to, I'm going to be his helpmeet, but you can't follow someone who's lost. And someone who's respectful, someone who will call you by your name on your birth certificate, and not a name that he made up, or a name that he's going to disrespect for you. Someone who will actually open the door for you, pull your chair out. Someone that will see you and see your value. Responsible. Someone that has check, has his own cell phone, don't need a loan, has his own home, and he doesn't have to depend on you. But someone that you've got to take care of, you have to begin to look at it. Rolanda, this has been great. Just sitting on the couch talking with you and recognizing when it's time to let go. It's okay to date. Notice where you're going and where you're looking. What are the characteristics that you want in a man? When you begin to go right on and look at them. Take him to the restaurant with you when you go with this date. Take him somewhere, everywhere you meet him, and look down at that list and say, does he fit? No, then I must equip. And then begin to look at, is this the person that's going to be respectful to me? Is this the person I want in my life? Either they're an asset or a liability. To wrap it up, I'm Dr. Joyce Morley, your host on A Woman's Worth. We really appreciate you being here today, having a conversation with Rolanda Goldsboro and I as we sit on the couch.